94 years. That is how long the World Cup has existed as the defining stage of international football. Across those 9 decades, thousands of players have competed, hundreds of records have been broken, and a small number of names have been etched permanently into the sport's memory. In all that time, no player has ever appeared at 6 different editions of the tournament. Not Pelé, not Ronaldo, not Zidane, not Maradona. Until now. When Lionel Messi steps onto the pitch in Kansas City, he will not simply be defending a World Cup title. He will be doing something that no human being has done in the entire history of this competition. And he will be doing it at the age of 38, as the last act of a career that has already rendered every existing measure of greatness inadequate. But this story is not only about a record. It is about what it costs to still be standing at this level after a quarter-century of carrying a nation's expectations. It is about legacy, repetition, and the terrifying weight of attempting what almost no team in modern football history has managed to achieve. To understand the scale of what Argentina are attempting, you need to understand just how rare their position is. Only 2 men's teams have ever won back-to-back World Cups. Italy did it in 1934 and 1938, in the earliest era of the competition. Brazil achieved it in 1958 and 1962, when Pelé was in his prime, and the tournament had not yet become the globally contested phenomenon it is today. Since then, across 64 years, 16 tournaments, and generations of footballing empires, no team has successfully defended the title. Not the great Brazil sides of the 1970s, not West Germany, not France, not Spain at the height of their dominance. The World Cup has a way of resetting everything. Form, momentum, expectation. None of it transfers cleanly from one edition to the next. Argentina know this, and they are walking toward it anyway. They arrive in 2026 as the reigning champions, having beaten France in one of the most dramatic finals in the tournament's history 4 years ago in Qatar. Since their first triumph in 1978, no nation has lifted the trophy more often than Argentina's 3 titles. They are, by any measure, one of the most decorated footballing nations in history, behind only Brazil and level with Germany and Italy. And yet here, in 2026, the Opta supercomputer ranks them only 4th among the favorites, behind Spain, France, and England, with a 10.2% probability of winning the tournament. 4th, the defending champions. That number tells you something important about what they are facing. They topped their qualifying group, the first time Argentina had finished first in CONMEBOL qualifying since 2014, with Julian Alvarez and Lautaro Martinez each scoring 4 times, and Messi contributing 8 goals. There is no shortage of attacking quality. But the pressure of defending a title brings its own particular kind of psychological gravity, one that statistics cannot fully capture. And then there is Messi himself. The questions around him are different from those surrounding any other player in this tournament. For most athletes, the central narrative at 38 is one of decline, of managing the gap between what the body can still do and what the mind still demands. But Messi arrived at this tournament having scored from the penalty spot just 3 minutes after coming off the bench in a 3-0 friendly win over Iceland. 3 minutes. The efficiency has not diminished. He has played 26 World Cup matches, more than any other player in history. He has scored 13 goals and contributed 8 assists across those appearances. He has been the gravitational center of Argentina's World Cup campaigns since 2006, carrying a weight that went beyond tactics or team selection. The weight of being the one player a nation believed could make history feel inevitable. In 2022, it finally came together. The timing, the team, the tournament. Messi held the trophy in Lusail, and something that had felt like an unfinished story finally reached its conclusion. The question now is what drives a player of that stature to return, to subject himself again to the scrutiny, the pressure, and the physical demands of a tournament at 38 years old. Here is what history suggests. Players of Messi's caliber rarely return simply to compete. They return because there is something left to resolve. And the thing left to resolve, the record that sits just beyond everything he has already achieved, is the 6th tournament appearance. If he features against Algeria, he becomes the first. History closes a door behind him that was never open before. So here is the question that lingers over Kansas City. Is Lionel Messi still doing this for Argentina? Or is he doing it for something that can no longer be taken from him? A place in the record books that will exist long after every other conversation about his career has ended. Algeria, for their part, are not arriving as passengers. They qualified for this tournament having scored 24 goals across 10 matches, the 3rd highest tally in CAF qualification for this edition. Their head coach, Vladimir Petkovic, has assembled a squad with genuine attacking intent. But the most striking element of their qualifying campaign was not collective. It was singular. Mohamed Amora, the Wolfsburg striker, scored 10 goals in 10 qualifying matches. He also contributed 4 assists. In total, Amora was directly involved in 58% of every goal Algeria scored in qualification. That figure is not just impressive, it is a structural vulnerability. When one player accounts for more than half of a team's attacking output, the opposition has a clearly defined target. Neutralize Amora, and you change what Algeria can threaten. Algeria's record at World Cups reinforces the challenge ahead. They have won only once in their last 10 matches at this tournament, a 4-2 victory over South Korea 12 years ago. Their 2 other victories came in 1982. In 13 World Cup appearances, they have kept just 1 clean sheet, a goalless draw against England in 2010. The mathematics are stark, but mathematics have never fully explained why tournament football produces the outcomes it does. Algeria have not faced Argentina in a competitive fixture before. Their only previous encounter was a friendly in 2007 at Camp Nou, a match that ended 4-3 in Argentina's favor, and, perhaps with some irony, the match in which a young Messi scored his first international brace. The fixture that begins his story with Algeria, in some sense, is now bookending it 19 years later. Argentina's record against African opposition since 1990 is also notable. After losing their opening World Cup match to Cameroon in 1990, they have won each of their subsequent 6 encounters with African teams in the tournament. They have never been eliminated by an African side. That pattern is not a guarantee, but it is a context. What this match represents, then, is something layered and complex. On one level, it is a group stage opener, a match Argentina are statistically favored to win in more than 2/3 of simulated outcomes. On another level, it is the opening movement of a potential dynasty attempt, the first step toward doing what no team has done in 64 years. And at the center of it all stands a 38-year-old man who has already done everything there is to do in this sport, walking toward the only thing left that no one has done before him. History does not offer second chances. It does not slow down, reconsider, or make accommodations for greatness. It simply arrives, and then it passes. Messi has spent his entire career meeting history at the door. The only real question now is whether one final time he is ready to walk through it, and whether Argentina are prepared to follow him somewhere no defending champion has gone in over 6 decades. Some records are broken. Others are simply waiting for the right person to be willing enough to reach for them.